think, in terms of Toronto, like, we went from Screwface Capital to One Love TO.
Really?
We did that through Each One Teach One. And that's the basics of it. Like, if we want to really break it down, like, that's what happened. And steel sharpens steel. Healthy competition is incredibly important. We're stronger as a whole, is what I think we've come to recognize. And as we start to recognize that we're stronger as a whole and we're collaborating across mediums, across spaces, I always say, like, the best thing about Remix when we started that was not, like, we had great, program leaders, and space was really important in terms of the equipment and all that thing, but the most important thing we ever did was create space. Literally, that was it. We had to just create space so young creative people can meet other young creative people. And then again, get the fuck out of the way. That's where Addy, links up with, well, I guess you already knew the entire state is a bad example. But like, other people come into this space, a photographer meets a graphic designer, meets a clothing, someone that's doing clothing, someone else does music that now they're doing a photo shoot and I'm wearing the clothes, this photo's the person gets the photos for their portfolio, you have a lookbook for your clothing line, the artist has a press kit that's ready to go in. So we started to recognize that, like, none of us had shit, but we all had something. And so if we could bring that together, if we could start to build this together, then we might actually have a house we could live in, And that's what we've done, is we started to create this community now. And went from a home to now building a community. And this community is brick by brick, like trying to build up for others, and make sure that we're going to be taken care of and that we're looked after for generations to come. But it has to come from a business sense. With the creativity, it's all good to be like, just follow the art, follow the art, follow the art. I truly believe that you follow the art to find the money, but at the same time, you can't just be ignorant of the business processes. You have to be protected, within it. You have to figure out, like, what does make the right decision. Because as much as you're going to follow yourself and you're going to do things that align with your brand, 100% I agree. There's going to be also moments that are going to be learning moments that allow you to get to that next step. I think a lot of folks right now, like, have a sense that, they got to be their own boss and be on by 25. And that's, if that happens, amazing, but generally that only happens for entertainers. You know what I mean? Like, that's because, and only entertainers in the urban music industry and pop music industry, and then athletics, right? Anyone in the behind the scenes, anyone else is like, they're hitting it in their 30s, they're hitting it, you know what I mean? Like, you're experimenting in your 20s, you're figuring shit out, you're discovering, you're making contacts. I say this about young management, especially people in the business of art, where I say, like, the managers, it's all good if your brother manages you, and they're like, you're both 21, 22. Doesn't mean that your friend isn't smart enough. They could be smart enough, they could have the best work ethic, all the right things in line. They just simply have not had enough time to go to the bar and meet people. Literally that, because this is a relationship-based game. It's a relationship-based industry, every creative industry, even your taxes, you go to who you know to get your taxes done first. If you don't know someone, then you'll go to H&R Block. But like, you know what I mean? So you have to literally spend that time building your community, right? And you have to be out there meeting these folks, being able to have that relationship where they're going to pick up the phone now and they're going to say, yeah, I'm going to do this because you had a drink at the bar together. You had that relationship, you went out and you had that wild night or whatever happened, or you had like cool meeting and you had a great lunch somewhere or whatever it was that you had that you shared and you built a human relationship. You have a touchstone where someone shares that moment with you and they can be like, okay, I identify that, I'm going to pick up the phone. Yeah. So as much as I think it is about like finding your style out there, it's also about building your network. And a network though can't feel like transactions. That's the fucking hard part. That's the fine line. Like how do you network without making it feel transactional?
I do feel like building up what you are and what you're trying to achieve and what you're trying to take claim for in life, it's building a tree. And you have to concentrate on that root system, and the bigger and stronger the root system is, like the bigger your tree is going to grow. But if you neglect the roots of it and you just try and grow, you're not going to go anywhere.
What do you guys do to reset the clock? Do you ever feel like you're overwhelmed or you're overworking yourself? Like
I'm not going to answer that question.
That's like literally like that's one of those things like when I used to work a 9 to 5, and it was just one of those like really, I don't know, I just didn't fit into the 9 to 5 world. But then at the same time, like I kind of anticipated that like being your own boss, you can just do whatever you want. And then all of a sudden I found like I created like a jail for myself here, because it was like I just created like this machine that I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta like keep this machine going all the time.
Just to build on that, I think well, the right thing for me to say in this case is to take yourself out of the machine. I think it's like, a really big thing that helped me a lot was going to one of my business partner at legendary Bobby's Cottage and just like getting away from all the noise and all the static and just getting the chance to like really put things into perspective. The hardest thing for me is that, and just sorry to keep going with it, I had a really lengthy conversation with my partners Brian and Bobby at LL, is that you can wake up every day and have different drives and dreams and aspirations. And that idea is always evolving. So like a lot of the time, like what you thought you wanted might not be the same thing a year from now, 5 years from now. Like in elementary, I wanted to play in the NBA. When I didn't pass 5'7", I was like, okay, I'm not going to be in the NBA. And then, you know, throughout high school, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be in a Filipino R&B group. And then I'm just like, you know, now I'll just live vicariously through my friends. So you know what I mean? So I think it's just like, you always have to be able to adapt and know when to let go of certain things that you kind of promised yourself at an earlier time, just because I feel like we're always evolving and we find through discovering or like traveling for me helps me a lot too.
Absolutely.
I like to travel on my own and just push myself out of my comfort zone because when I'm on my own, I feel like it really shows me who I am, and then I start to be a little bit more adventurous to try things that I wouldn't normally do. Just because if you're with your friends and you're like on road somewhere, everyone wants to stay in their clique and their comfort zone, but when you're by yourself somewhere, you're kind of forced to like go out and just see what's out there. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, when you travel like in a group, you kind of take your bubble with you.
yeah.
I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people have this mythology of like, you have to find balance. They always talk about balance, right? And I think a lot of people believe it to be like, oh, I'm only going to work 9 to 5, and then I'm going to have this time off where I chill out, and that's how I find my balance every day. And what I've recognized in myself is that shit makes me crazy. And again, I'm an addict, right? So when I get passionate about things, I just want to do it all day. That's all I want to do is work on that. But then I need to also chill like an addict as well, because that's my balance. My balance isn't actually finding like 9 to 5 and then chilling in the evening, and I find that time and then going for a nice walk with my dog and stuff like that. Like, those things are little things are good to take you out of it, but I've recognized in myself, I actually get more frustrated when I feel like I could be being productive and I'm not. So what I've had to do is actually recognize like I'm going to binge here, but that also means I need to binge on my personal, because otherwise I'll never find that balance. And so that's how I've started to find it. But I think it is a conversation we have to have a lot more, and we have to keep talking about what makes sense. Like mental health started to come out, but I'll be on, like, you know, I had a conversation this morning with the guy that I work with at my new thing, and he's just like, you know, we're talking for a bit, and he's just like, are you good? You know, like, you're off right now. And I'm like, honestly, I'm not good. I got a lot going on, is like on multiple levels. My confidence is rocked on this and this and this. I'm not fucking good right now. But I'm not gonna kill myself. So, like, you know what I mean? I'm not on the edge. You know what I mean? So how do we talk about that? And then when you recognize that, cool, we recognize that, and then it was like 7 back-to-back meetings and something else, and it was like, and we had 5 minutes to talk about, am I good? You know what I mean? So then I was like, okay, well that's not cool either. So then I'm gonna go just, after like in those meetings, I canceled the one in the middle. I'm gonna go take a cool lunch. I'm just gonna go, luckily I'm blessed to have my parents around still. I'm in touch with my parents. I went and linked with them, and I just had lunch. Chilled out for an hour and a half.
You definitely need to like set, when you're like in an entrepreneurial mindset, you need to like chalk out time.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, like it is that thing where it's like, yeah, you never want to turn stuff away because you're building up, and every opportunity is another opportunity. But
like, it goes back to finding your style though, of like finding your style, what works for you in terms of balance, what works for you in terms of chilling, what works for you in terms of work ethic, what works for you in terms of being stressed out. That type of thing, and then what doesn't, you have to find that style as well, like because there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all. We're all different individuals, we all have different backgrounds, we have different ideas of what success is, we have different ideas of like what we want to accomplish, and also what stress is and where stress comes from, what we allow to stress us. So I can't give an answer to things other than, you know, like we have to find our style, you know, and we have to be honest with that.
Thank you guys, let's give these guys a big